Hi everyone. So in this video, we are going to create an API gateway endpoint which will allow us to authenticate our user against cognitive user pool. And on successful authentication, we will get access token in return. So in the previous two videos, we learned how to register a user and then confirm that user. So in this video, we are going to use the credentials of of the same user to authenticate against cognitive user pool. So let's get started. So I am at my serverless YAML file and the configuration for the Lambda handler is going to be similar. So I will just copy this section, paste it here and we'll make relevant changes to it. The name of the handler is going to be login. The path of the handler is going to be src functions login.js, and under the event section, yes, the path is going to be login and the HTTP method is going to remain the same. And yes, we are going to need a cognitive user pool client ID uh, in our Lambda code. Now we will head back to our source code and under src functions, we will create a file named login.js. And here, as usual, I will export a method name handler, which will take event and context. This method is going to be an asynchronous method, and we will import Cognito identity provider client and initiate auth command and auth flow type, which is nothing but an enum. We'll just understand this in a bit. So inside this method, I'll add a tracklage block. So before everything, let's initialize the client. Const client new Cognito identity provider region equal to process dot env aws underscore region. So once we have initialized our client, next we'll go and retrieve email and password from event body. So I'll retrieve email, password from event body. Next, we will create prepare params for initiate auth command. So let us look at the documentation of the initiate auth command. I have already opened it, and so here, if you scroll below, you can see the example usage, and you see that we have to provide auth flow, and inside auth parameters, we have to provide username and password our auth our auth flow is of type user password auth. So, and in addition to that, we also need client ID. So let us head back to our login.js, and here we will start creating our params required for initiate auth command. So const params equal to auth flow is going to be auth flow type dot user password auth. parameters, nothing but user name, which is nothing but email in our case, and password, it nothing but password. And in addition to this, we need client ID, which we will pick up from the environment variable. Cognito client underscore ID. So now that we have prepared our params, we'll get response from client.send command, which will take which in turn will take the params which we created above. And on successful authentication, we are going to return status code 200, and the body we are going to return stringified response as it is. Oh, sorry. Yeah. And in case of error, we have to return status code equal to 500, and the body is going to consist of error dot message, and details will have error object itself. That's it. Everything looks good. Now our Lambda handler code looks good. So I'll just go back to my command prompt and deploy this service. I'll hit serverless deploy -f1 verbose. It has started deploying. I will just pause here a bit and I will come back once it has been deployed. Yeah, now our service has been deployed and it has returned us the API gateway endpoint for logging. I'll just grab this URL from here and head back to VS Code. And in the VS Code, I will open the Thunder client extension and I will click on the new request, and I'll provide the URL in here in the box, and the method type is going to be post. In the body, I have to provide email and password. So we'll copy email from the sign up request, which password is going to be test at the rate 123 hash. I'll just copy this password as well. Oh, sorry. And I will hit the send button. Oh, there's some issue. I'll just need to debug it. Is upon close inspection, I found that the login.js file was misplaced and it was created outside of src functions folder and by mistake. And now I have moved a login.js file to its original position under src functions, and I've also deployed the service back again. And I will go to Thundercloud extension where we were trying to test the authentication flow. Yes. So this is the uh, request which I was preparing, and I've provided the email and password. I will hit the send button once again, and you will see that authentication is successful and we are getting access token ID token and refresh token in return from Cognito user pool. And the expiry of this token is only valid for this access token or ID token, or a combination of access token and ID token is going to be valid only for an hour. So we will test the entire flow again. Yeah. So I'll rename this request to, I'll go and rename this to login task manager. So I will open the sign up request first, and I will pick up any of the temporary email provider. Yeah. Here we go. Will be using this email. I'll go back to my VS Code, and here and hit the send button. The sign up API gateway endpoint is working. Now we will go to confirm sign up API gateway endpoint, which I've already stored in here, saved under confirm sign up task manager. Modify the email, and we have to pick up the code from the email that we have received. I have copied the code. I will go back to VS Code. Yeah, yeah, we have successfully confirmed that user. Now I will use this email and password to authenticate against Cognito user pool. And the password is going to be test@123#. And I will hit the send button. So you see we have tested the entire flow